So today I thought I would do an update on how I'm getting on with my underdesk treadmill. I am doing a monthly update every month to show you my progress, how I'm getting on, how I'm dealing with any challenges. And this is my second full month of using this. And last month was a good month. I completed 98 miles on the treadmill, which equated to 18,664 calories burnt, and I lost 5.5 pounds in weight, which, well, it increased my enthusiasm for this gadget no end. So this month I wanted to step that up. I'm very aware from my previous experience with gyms and weight loss and all that sort of thing that your body will adapt to the amount of exercise you're doing. So that first month when I lost 5.5 is no surprise. That was a real shock to my system, because before that my poor body was only burning or should I say, it was only walking about 10 miles a week, and I was up to, I think, about 36 miles a week. So I wanted to step it up a bit as I was getting used to the routine of walking whilst doing things on my laptop, because I have the standing desk, which is on an ironing board, and then I have my my treadmill underneath that, so I can stand on the treadmill, my laptop is in front of me, and I can do work. I've got really good at typing. I do spreadsheet things, a bit of money stuff. I watch YouTube. I edit YouTube. Editing YouTube, particularly if I'm watching a final edit before I publish it, I can just walk the entire time and watch it. So it's not difficult for me to get the miles in. So I thought I'd push it up a bit this month. So I was trying to average 10,000 steps a day last month, and I ramped it up to 13,000 this month. I had a couple of days where I didn't do as much. I had one day, which was the last day, which was the 13th of December, where I did none at all because I wasn't home at all. But I've managed to average 12,454 steps per day over a 31-day period. And it looks pretty good. I've ramped it up. Still feeling good about it. I can feel that I've lost weight, and I was desperate to get on the scales and see if it was making a difference. I am really fixated by the numbers. It's one of the problems that I have when I start doing things like this, is I get quite fixated on the numbers. So I'm only allowing one weigh in on the last day of each 31 day cycle that I'm doing this, and I'm recording all my steps and things via an app on my phone called Pedometer, which does it all for me, and then I'm just adding it up at the end of the month so that I'm not constantly looking at the numbers. And this month I have lost weight again. I haven't lost quite as much as last time. Could be all sorts of reasons for that. One of those is that I have eaten more junk this month than usual. If you watch my Week in the Life videos, you will see that I ate that 125 gram big bag of crisps, and I think I did that in 2 days, and a Terry's chocolate orange. Now, I know those are small amounts and you shouldn't get fixated on it, but my diet is quite healthy now. I've been cutting down on the ultra-processed foods, cutting down on the sugar, cutting down on the junk, trying to get better with walking, and walking at the right time. They say that walking after you've eaten a meal is a good time to walk, because you start to burn some of that sugar and energy that's being locked into your body after you've eaten. So I always try and walk for 20 or 30 minutes after a meal. So that will be lunchtime and then in the evening. And I think that's probably helping. So last month I lost 5.5 pounds, which I think was a real shock to my body, to suddenly find itself doing so much exercise after such a long time of no exercise, because I am self-employed. I work from home. I have 10 hours a week where I go out and do other work. So I do cleaning work, but it really doesn't burn the calories at all. And so I lost all of that. I knew it would be probably higher than usual because it's such a shock to my body. This month I have lost another £3. Now I have done more steps, I have burnt more calories, I have probably eaten a few more calories than usual for my normal diet, but £3 is still pretty good. If I can keep that up, then that's a real bonus. £3 a month by walking steps is great. I think I'm going to stick to the 13,000 at the moment. The problem I now have is that I'm in the middle of December. I am going to be away for Christmas and New Year. I can't take the treadmill with me because it's too big and too heavy, and that means I'm going to be doing less exercise. There's going to be more food, more of the wrong kinds of food, more alcohol, more sitting around. So I am not expecting any miracles for the December-January month, but it's 2 weeks out of the 4, so I still have time to play a little bit of catch up. And then once I'm away, I just need to rein things in a little bit and, where possible, get out and walk. Last time when I was down at my parents' for 2 weeks, there were only 2 days when it wasn't raining. It was a really, really bad stay. That was October. So I don't know what it's going to be like this time. I am going to try and be motivated and go out. I'm not very good at it. That's why having the treadmill is so good. It's cold, it's dark, it's miserable, it's wet, it's muddy, and to be honest with you, I'm not feeling it. I am struggling this winter with how cold and dark and oppressive it is. It's been a real struggle. So I am going to do what I can. I'm going to spend the next week being proactive and maybe try and get some extra steps in. And then, of course, I'll have the week when I come back, when I can go back to normal. And again, I won't weigh, but I will try and rein things in a bit. There are only a few days I'm away where eating is going to be unusual. Christmas Day, Boxing Day, maybe a couple of other days. Most of the rest of the time, there's no excuse for me to not stick to my normal eating habits, despite the fact that I'm in someone else's house, eating someone else's food to their way of eating. But I'm also responsible for the cooking when I go home. My mum likes to not have to cook, so when I go and stay, I take over in the kitchen and do all the cooking, and she loves that. So that means that I get to have a little bit of control about the meals. So we'll see how we get on. I'm not too worried about it. I know it's coming. I expect no miracles. I would imagine that best case scenario is I don't lose any weight at all and I just stay static. If I can do that, I think that will probably feel like a win, to be honest with you. But maybe a couple of weeks break from the relentlessness of the walking I've been doing won't hurt. Who knows? It doesn't stop me getting out and doing little mini hikes around the countryside where I'll be staying if the weather allows. The other thing that's been really interesting is my energy usage. So when I started doing this, I was worried about how much energy this plug-in electric treadmill was going to use. And I tried to mitigate that by, I've been putting my freezers on timers so that they only come on for so many hours of the day. I worked out by doing some very basic calculations that if I could have my freezers off for X number of hours in each 24-hour period, that if I was walking 10,000 steps, it would balance itself out and my energy bill wouldn't go up, because I can't afford for my energy bill to go up at all. Prices are still going up, my usage isn't. The good news on that is that I used 4 units of electric less this last month. So I have been using the treadmill a lot, and that means that the balance between using the treadmill and shutting off the freezers by use of timers is working. Now, of course, my energy was for the whole of this month, that's combined, that's dual fuel, so that's electricity and gas, is less this month than December last year. But my gas was a lot higher last year because early December we had that really nasty cold snap where it went down to -8, and I think I had to put my central heating on for about a week. This year, for this bill period, which was up to the 11th of December, I've only had to have central heating on for 3 nights because we had snow. and my unit usage is half of what it was last month based on that. So I'm not having to use the heating at the moment. Temperatures are going back up. We're going to get into 11 degrees, 12 degrees, even 13 degrees in the next week. So no heating needed there. So it's been another good month for the treadmill. It's great because it's so accessible for me. I can jump on it whenever I want, and I will get it on it at various times of the day depending on when I need to use the laptop. I might do very long walks, I might do shorter ones. Someone gave me a really good tip, something I had kind of thought about but not thought about seriously, is that instead of putting my treadmill up on an incline, I could also just wear my backpack with some heavy weights in the back, and that will get me walking with more weight on, which will cause me to have to do more work. I think I'm more likely to do that than put it up on an incline, because every time I've finished using the treadmill, I push it back under the furniture so that I don't trip over it. And if I just have some weights in a backpack, that's much easier to put on and off than having to take the treadmill off the blocks of wood, push it under, get it out, put it back up on. But I might give the incline a go as well. So I might spend this next week, my last week here before I go away, working a bit harder on the treadmill to try and build things up, and then when I get back have a week of, you know, really getting out and having a good walk. But it depends on how much damage I do over Christmas. Anyway, I'm not gonna ruin Christmas because I'm constantly thinking, oh, how many calories I've eaten, but I can get over the top, and because I've been reining in my eating and doing more exercise lately, my fixation on food has dropped. So I'm hoping that that will continue as a mindset just as I go through Christmas and New Year. Anyway, so that's my update. My next update now will be the middle of January. And yeah, that's it. That's my last treadmill update for 2024. Hope you found that interesting. If you're thinking of getting one of these treadmills, I can highly recommend them. If you go back through my playlist, I have a playlist of all the videos I have made about buying and using this treadmill, and that'll give you the details of the one I've bought, how much I've spent, how I'm using it, what to expect. It's been great. I haven't had to adjust the track on it this month. I had to adjust it in the first couple of weeks that I first had it a couple of times as it settled in, and now it just seems to be fine. I've oiled it once in this month because I think I was supposed to oil it every 300 kilometres or something. So I've just put some oil on it this month because I'm pretty sure I've nailed that, and it seems to be running really well. So catch up with you in a month. Hope you found that interesting, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye bye.